Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Welcome to the Taurus reading. This is for November, and we're going to be taking a look at all of the opportunities coming through for the next 6 to 8 weeks. My goal here is that of empowerment. So if there's challenges, I try to give you tools to figure out how to transmute them. And if there's opportunities, we try to make sure that you have a chance to jump through that hoop or that window of opportunity and make the most out of it, right? So if you're brand new to the channel, a quick rundown of what we're going to do today. We're going to get started with something that I call channeled messages. That's basically things that I get directly from source, not even through the cards, just my guides and myself. And I'll bring that to you first. Then we'll get into the Celtic Cross. I always let the Celtic Cross take whatever energy it needs to or whatever focus it needs to. And then we go into health, wealth, love, and destiny right after that. If you like what you see here, a quick note, please subscribe. It helps the channel more than you could imagine. You can also join or support me in other ways if you'd like to, including super chats and super stickers. And you can join me across social media as well. We're going to get into channel messages next. First, just a little cameo from Apollo, who's chilling out in the background, holding space for all of us, keeping us zen and keeping us centered. Good to have him here with me. All right, channeled messages as promised. So this morning, primarily I was connecting with my guides through dreams, and that's actually one of my preferred and favorite forms of divination. The reason being is because we're not limited as much by our own sort of filters as we normally are. I find that in dreams I often see things exactly as they need to be shown, and so for that reason I'm always appreciative when I get messages that way. Today we got a few messages for you that are going to help you focus. The first is understanding that there is a moment in time that's going to require your ability to commit to it. And in order to do that, there's this release of baggage. So I actually saw like what we would see if you're packing your bags. So like a suitcase and an open door and an open window, indicating that this is the moment to move, basically. Move on, move out, move up. And then I saw a mountaintop as well, which is showing me a new perspective for you. Let's begin with the first of the two messages here. So as I said, I saw a single suitcase, and that's the important piece, not several suitcases, one. And then I was shown an open window and an open door. This very closely aligns to the Fool card. If you look closely at this, you'll see that the knapsack is light. This particular figure is unencumbered by both physical belongings, but also emotional, energetic, and even thought-like baggage that we sometimes hold on to. So this unencumbered spiritual energy is going to be sort of like the key to not only opening up the door, but the word that my guides are giving me is accelerating. So this is sort of like, I talk about catalysts in my spread. This is a catalyst and this is an accelerant, and it's going to help you make your goals happen a little bit faster, which is exciting. So in order to do that, as I put in the third bullet here, you need to really focus on letting go of fears, anger, and any physical trappings or belongings that might be there weighing you down. As someone who recently had to put some things in storage, do a temporary move before I find my final sort of place that I'm going to live in, one thing that I did was I made sure that I looked at all the stuff around me and decided, does this make the move? One of the things that I do, whether it's spring cleaning or a physical move, is I'll touch the object if it's something like a lampshade or a bed or something like that. And I think to myself, what am I thinking of when I connect with this? Is it a positive memory? Is it negative? Is this something that I feel like is going to help brighten up this new space? Or is it something that I'm keeping just because I don't have a better reason to have it in my life? So take a look at stuff and think, what's the memory? What's the purpose? And what would it be like if it wasn't in my life? Would I feel sad or would I feel free? This is a really good way for you to do some clearing and cleaning in your energy and in your space around you. You can apply the same thing towards relationships and commitments as well. Is something brightening and lightening you, or is it sort of pushing you down or holding you back? So this is all going to help you connect with that energy of the Fool. And then when an opportunity comes through, you'll have less stuff around you that's tugging at you energetically. This is a time clearly to simplify and to focus on the forward momentum. I mentioned in the daily card pull this morning when I was looking at the Ace of Wands that as with aces, the Fool is basically just asking us to take a step in that direction, not to complete everything. Literally, we see the Fool taking one step after another. There are other cards like Temperance that show this as well, one step at a time. You don't have to go overboard. So today, if you just decide to talk to someone, research something, or start to clear something out and make room for something, that initial thought or action is enough to start to create momentum. And that brings you into the window of opportunity, which is our next message. So as I'm looking at this, my guides are playing that old Tina Turner song, or Creedence song, which is Proud Mary, basically, and it's about the big wheel that keeps on turning, right? So the wheel of fortune is like that big wheel, and it is not ready for you to sort of like sit still right now. And basically, in this moment in time, if you go with the energy of movement and change, which was gently brought in by the Fool, you'll be rewarded by this Wheel of Fortune. If not, then there'll probably be some challenges or blocks or situations that come up to get you moving. So let's move with the Wheel of Fortune. What it really is telling you right now is if there's something that you've been dreaming of or thinking of or hoping to do, this is the moment to start to plant the seeds, to start to create that momentum that we just talked about. And maybe you might benefit from research or talking to a mentor or talking to others that have dealt with the energy of the unknown. Because ambiguity, risk, and basically putting yourself out there a little bit, that vulnerability, that is a part of spiritual growth. That is also a part of your own growth in your career and your finances, etc. There's always a little bit of risk management that's going to be a part of that. So embrace that, explore that, and keep moving towards the ultimate goal at the end of that road that I was seeing in my initial meditation. And there's a couple of things. It's not just the Fool. You could also think of, or the Wheel of Fortune. I could also see like the Moon card, where we're sometimes tempted to chatter with people around us and explain what we're doing. And that final bullet there is going to connect with that. You don't owe anyone an explanation. If you know you want to do something, if you're committed to that, then own it, embrace it, and move through this moment of time without hesitation. And that's really what this card is all about and this message is all about. And remember, if you don't move now, someone else may move into that opportunity, or you may be pushed to move anyway. So now is the time. Figure out how you can really embrace the movement and the opportunity, and you're going to not only be happy that you did, but you're going to see positive movement in careers, personal growth, and just general resources if you do that. So whenever I think of a mountain, it really reminds me of the Ten of Wands, particularly this card in Light Seers Tarot. And the reason this particular card is so amazing is it shows us that it doesn't always have to be a struggle. A lot of times the Ten of Wands, you see the person kind of bending under the pressure of all the wands, not necessarily seeing that they've almost accomplished what they set out to do. And this instead is saying, I am aware that part of the fun is the journey. And she's doing a good job at basically delegating and being present in the moment. She's not getting overly involved or overly sort of angst-ridden because of stress or fear or anxiety. She's instead saying, no, I worked hard for this. I'm going to see it through to completion, and this isn't the end. This is just one of many chapters in my book of my life. And that's one thing that I like to remind us here on this channel a little bit from time to time, is that we energetically are eternal. We've had many lifetimes and we'll have many to come. How many? It's kind of up to our soul and the powers that be. But you can almost imagine this life as a middle child. So some of the toughest stuff you've already been through, and it's kind of like this one has been broken in. This lifetime has been broken in. There are other people that may have more experience than you, and you're learning from them. But the cool thing is, as the middle child, you have a chance to sort of fly under the radar and do what you want to do if you embrace that. And you can come through and surprise people almost as a dark horse because they're paying a lot of attention to the youngest or the oldest. So for you, I want you to really embrace your freedom right now, your freedom to decide what's next. And that's the title of this slide. The mountain represents a goal that's about to be achieved. Sometimes when we achieve a single goal in our life, it can feel anticlimactic, or it can feel like, now what? So I always want you to be thinking of 1 or 2 steps beyond your current goal, so that once you accomplish that, you're like, yeah, awesome. I got something else here that I'm working on. I've already started that as well. multitasking a little bit so that we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket, whether it's graduating, getting married, starting a family, traveling, or retiring. These are all things that we can do across a broader spectrum of our lifetime, but no one of them should be the only thing that we're focusing on. So the encouragement here is to think a little bit broader and to think a little bit wider. And like Apollo's doing in the background, kind of dig a little deeper and think, what else is it that I want to do? What else is it that inspires me, right? One other thing here is to revel in each and every moment, to really focus on being present in this journey. You gotta love pets, right? To be present in the journey and have a firm vision of what will follow next. So there's always a new chapter. There's always a new moment in the journey. And just like Apollo kind of like dug in there and reminded us, like, pay attention to me. I matter right now. I want you to kind of look at your life and think, are you getting what you need out of it? Do you need to take a 180-degree turn like he did? And are you really enjoying it from moment to moment? Because I think too often, and this is maybe more something that you see in, I don't know if it's just in the United States, but I think it's in a lot of Western cultures, but there's just too much of a focus on achievements and milestones. And the truth of the matter is there's a lot of time in between those milestones. And if we don't take advantage of it, life passes you by. I don't mind sharing pieces of my life, but when my father passed, and it's been a while now, it was like 2014, but he, on his deathbed, he just said, where did the last 40 years go? And he kind of looked straight at me and he wanted me not to waste my time. And so I made sure that after that, it was 6 months later that I quit my corporate job. So he was a big piece of it because I saw that I didn't want to go down the same path that he did. And I wanted to make sure that I enjoyed each and every moment a little bit more. So I'm always grateful to him for that gift of the importance of being present. And he's right, the time passes quickly. 10 years can fly by just like that. So make sure that you're present, make sure that you're embracing this moment, and don't worry so much about how long it's taking you to accomplish one of those milestones or if you just finished one, because you can always start something new, okay? So that's the message with this. What's next? Dream a little dream and decide what that dream is going to be for you. All right, and then this one is really important here, which is you're a lot closer than you think. And I pulled the Magician card here because it connects to everything that we're talking about. You are a manifester. Thoughts manifest. So imagine yourself just closer to the goal at hand or the goals at hand than you think you might be. And if you already are putting out there that something isn't doable, that it is not going to happen, you've blocked yourself before you've given yourself a chance to do it. If you think I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm overqualified, I'm underqualified, etc., it's not going to happen. The other piece of this can definitely feed into how much people are willing to invest in you, and that is, don't underestimate yourself. If you need something and you believe you're worth it, ask for it. And really do so with this feeling of, I'm worth it, you're lucky to have me, I'm lucky to have you, and then open it up to the universe and see what happens. Don't allow others to push you in the corner or push your light or energy down either. So we want to avoid 4 and 5 of Pentacles. I want you in the upper area when it comes to abundance coming in. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Any of those are fine. But we want to avoid some of the lower energies there because let me tell you this, you are absolutely worth it. So quick review of this and then let's get into your Celtic Cross. All right, so back at the beginning here, we see that it's important right now for you to travel lightly, to let go of old habits and old things and maybe some of the belongings, to be willing to sort of explore the unknown and the uncharted territories and talk to people that can help you with that. There's a window of opportunity. Time and energy wants you to get going and it's moving with or without you. So ask yourself, why not now? Why can't I try something new now? And open yourself up to change. Also, keep planning for the future. Whenever we look at companies, they don't plan just for 1 year. It's usually 1, 3, 5, 10 years. They have all these sort of plans that they put out there so that they can constantly be ahead of the next big thing. And our lifetime is the same sort of thing. We should be planning for the future, but also living, enjoying, and really reveling in the moment here and now. And finally, most importantly, remember, you are the most powerful person to make all of this happen, including the timelines which can shift based on your openness, based on your belief. Okay? So that, my friends, is your channel messages for today. Before we get into the Celtic Cross, let's also quickly review the format right here. The next portion is going to be the Celtic Cross and the expanded forecast. And then after that, we'll go into a few smaller areas which are really fun to look at. Big idea, blessings and blocks, the reader's choice, and then I'll break it down into sun, rising, and moon. Before I do that, this is a quick reminder that you can watch this for sun, rising, moon, Venus, any aspect of your chart that you happen to know. You can also cross-watch on behalf of others as well. All right, let's turn the camera down and take a look at the Celtic Cross now. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully your month is getting off to a good start here. It's so good for all of us to be out of Mercury retrograde. I don't know about you, but that was quite a retrograde for me. Really cool card to come through for health, the Medicine Woman, reminding you that you can make some changes happen in your life. Again, kind of like the Magician, you are the best one to create manifestation, to create movement. Okay, so let me just move these over a little bit so we can see everything better, and let's get started. All right, we'll begin with the Catalyst card today, and we have the beautiful storm that came through. It's kind of on its side, but it really doesn't matter with the storm. The interesting thing is I definitely see a correlation between the storm and the Tower card here. So maybe the fact that it is sort of like starting to settle. This Tower is reversed, which is always my preference if I see the Tower, because it allows for you to basically change or affect the energy that's going on. And this one is showing it's finally coming back to a normal space. So there's always, at the beginning, I like to remind all of us, like when you start something new, it's never perfectly neat. It's never perfectly arranged. Usually you have to kind of organized, right? So think, for those of you like me that were like an English major back in school, you would get all your research together. Back in the day, you would have note cards. Nowadays you have sort of everything digitally set up, but there has to be sort of like an order. It's like, what am I trying to do here? So you pull all of the pieces together and try to form some sort of cohesive statement, and then you also try to add on top of that. When it comes to our life, we have like building materials in every sort of aspect of our life, and we have to decide, what am I going to do with this? So back to that initial slide, I'll even bring it up here while we're talking, which was really asking you to think about, what do you need? What do you really need is the question here in this moment in time. Of all the things that are in front of you, what constitutes a necessity and what is actually a distraction or something that is weighing you down? This is the most important thing in this moment in time, is to decide between those two things. Once you can kind of clean up the mess, you're going to start to see that there is exactly what you need in that. We get distracted a lot of times by all the stuff that's going on as well. So this is saying, I'm going to clear my mind, clear my schedule, clear my surroundings. I'm going to really focus my intention so that I'm not trying to do all of this at once. I really just want to kind of clarify. So in this moment, if you can clarify and focus and release all of that sort of dust from the environment around you, that's going to be really, really key to your success. And the dust, again, is like other people's thoughts, all the sort of activities that might be tugging at your time and energy, and all the different places our mind can go in any given point. Take a deep breath, focus, and just like you would with research in front of you, you have to sort of figure out what's supporting me, what's distracting me. And that's all you have to focus on in this moment in time to clean up the mess. Or to bring order to chaos, I should say. All right, let's go to your center card. The one thing that is going to either help or hinder you the most is your emotional state. So we have the Nine of Cups here at the center. Nine of Cups in reverse can indicate punctuated highs and punctuated lows. And what does that mean? It means that when things are really good, you may just have so much fun that you let responsibilities fall to the wayside. When things are really getting difficult and someone gives you criticism or you're just not feeling your best, you can let that inhibit you from being able to push through and accomplish what you set out to do. So the important thing is to enjoy the highs because you earned that, but also to sort of stay on track with with all of your sort of your agreements and your promises. All of those contracts need to be met. And if you ever receive constructive criticism or just criticism, take it with a grain of salt, because there's always going to be one person out there that you can't make happy. There's always going to be one thing that you need to work on. That's why we're on this planet. And if you take it together and average it as a whole, that's going to give you a much clearer picture of where you're at. So take the good, take the bad, and in the middle is where you're going to find your peace, because it's not about those really high highs and low lows. And that's maybe why I was looking at the mountain. When we were at the bottom looking at that top peak, it sort of feels insurmountable. When we reach the top, then again we think, what's next? Or I don't want to leave. And so I think that this Nine of Cups is saying it's going to be okay. Whether you're at the top or you're trying to work your way up there, you're going to be all right. All right. If there's anything you need to do to blow off some steam, to relax a little bit, to channel the energy, by all means, that's the center card, and it's saying creative endeavors, speaking to a therapist, talking to a counselor, working with a friend or family member that can kind of help you clear that out. That's also going to help. Ultimately, when this card is upright, it's saying you try to see the sunny side of the street, or you try to look at the positive, and I think you're going to get yourself back to that space. There's just a little bit of distraction that's coming through, and I'm going to try to help you out with that. As we look at the center card here, it's being crossed by the Four of Cups. So Nine of Cups here, Four of Cups, which has this hidden ace. You take that ace and you put it with that, and you have the Ten of Cups. So let's figure out how we can get to the hidden blessing here. Basically, what the Four of Cups represents is a shift in perspective. And a lot of times what the universe is asking you to do is don't beat yourself up. If something didn't go the way you expected, look at it as a cosmic hand guiding you onto a path of less resistance, of higher return on investment, maybe pointing you towards a partnership that might be better for you. So when someone says no, when an offer falls short of expectations, when something just doesn't happen, this is the universe still working with and for you to move you, just like the Wheel of Fortune, the big wheel keeps moving you towards a better outcome. So rejection is part of the path of enlightenment, of learning, and it is protection, because it's showing you this isn't it. And we shouldn't chase after something where we're rejected. We should look at other options that are open, or we should figure out what it was that really makes us want to continue moving towards this path. And if you meet repeated rejection on one path, there's definitely a vibe that's coming from the universe saying, have you thought of looking this way or this way? And if there's someone or something that lands in your lap and it's just unexpected, the timing is inconvenient or unexpected, this is actually something to pay attention to, because that's also the universe saying, hey, how about this? Have you considered this? So repeated rejection or an unexpected opportunity is the universe trying to help you redirect your attention. So go with the flow wherever it's taking you right now, because underneath this, we still have a predominantly positive card. If we take this in its upright position, the Nine of Cups is saying celebration, happiness, good things. So there could be a good thing that is being misinterpreted as a setback, but the universe is like, no, I've got something great or even better. You put these two together and it's the 10 of Cups. And that can be love, success, an unexpected sort of connection that's coming through. Try not to compare yourself to others. The biggest area where the Four of Cups comes through and drives us crazy is when we compare our career, our marital or relationship status, or just our general personal growth to that of someone else. And it makes us feel less than. You can look at someone that's doing better and get inspired and think, if they can do it, I can do it. How did they do it? What can I do to build myself up? Or if you've done the exact same life path and it's not happening for you, think of it this way. This time around, because we've lived many lifetimes, this time around, your soul wants you to explore something else. Their soul needs that, but you might have something equal to or greater than that on the horizon. So just because it's not happening now doesn't mean that it won't happen soon. And just because it didn't show up the way you expected doesn't mean that it won't still show up. This is about keeping a very open mind, looking at blessings and also any sort of rejections around you as cosmic help and cosmic influence. So see how you can kind of reframe things up as directional energies. Blockages are telling you to look this way. Something landing in your lap is telling you to look that way. Just open yourself up and you'll be surprised. Hidden blessings right in front of you. And that really is what this is saying. You're just being challenged to look at it from a different perspective and everything will change, okay? Looking at the cards again, in the deep past, many of you have been very busy is what I'm seeing here. We've got the Eight of Wands. This is a fantastic card. Typically when this comes through in business or in personal development, it's showing that you have started to reach this new level of productivity, that you're actually, this is the Wheel of Fortune really kind of kicking in. It's saying things are predictable, things are going in the right direction. Sometimes we feel like we're lost in the shuffle because all of these wands also represent people in your life or people around you. And what can happen is you can get swept up in a movement. It can be something in your family, someone's personal drama. It can be something that you're getting excited about, like changing a policy, changing a law, changing something politically. So that kind of energy can move you forward. It can also just be the energy of love, which also has its own momentum. Things are happening mostly in a really good place, but you don't want to lose track of who you are and why you got involved in a relationship or a movement in general. So this is saying just slow down for a moment, long enough to figure out, am I still connected to this? And who am I? And what am I getting out of this? Just a little bit of a momentary pause and meditation so that you can make the most of this movement. But by and large, this is a very good card and it shows me that you're moving in the right direction. The answer to it, we'll get to this in a second, is actually brought to us by the crowning card here, which is to sometimes say no, sometimes to delegate, to also push back on anything that's unnecessary too. And it's really just saying this, not this, and I have some boundaries and some limits and I'm okay with putting them out there because I've proven to myself and to others that I can do everything. It's not necessarily making you happy all the time by doing that. And so now you're going to come through and say, when enough is enough, basically, okay? And that's what this card is about. So we have Judgment in reverse. A decision has been made. The acceptance of said decision hasn't yet set in with you. So what does this mean? In external sort of like examples, this can mean that someone says, first of all, it could be like they're laying you off or letting you go or moving on, and you disagree with that. You feel like, but I don't accept that. It can be good news that comes your way. Someone that's coming through with a really positive offer, and they say, we think you would be fantastic for this or this. Basically, at its core, it's disbelief. Disbelief of something very positive or something that's difficult to cope with in a negative way. And I guess the cool thing with this is, usually with judgment, it's already been decided. So all that you have to focus on is either acceptance or the decision, what do I do about this? What do I do about this feeling? So is it going, if it's jealousy, for instance, you can turn it into inspiration. Instead of being jealous, get inspired and figure out how you can do the same thing. If it's rejection, you can figure out, is this really rejection, or is this a chance for me to do something better? What is it? Freedom, actually. Are you now free to explore a completely different path that you couldn't have because you might have been afraid of letting someone down, or leaving them behind or whatever? And now the universe has said, we took that out of the equation and we're just freeing you. And if it's anything else, again, like a lack of self-confidence, maybe just imagine that the universe or this other person sees something that you don't see, and they see value in you that you didn't imagine. So this is really asking you to suspend disbelief and look at the situation from a bird's eye perspective. All right? This is also the card of rising from the ashes like a phoenix. So some of you may think that this is the end. It's not. This card always shows rebirth and reincarnation. We see Gabriel sounding the horn. We see all of the souls rising from the dead. This is saying that this is a semicolon. It's not a full stop. It's not a period. This is just a momentary pause, a part of a bigger sort of statement. Something better is on this latter part of the statement. So I like to think of this as a semicolon for my grammar geeks out there. Something is coming, something better, and something really, really cool, actually. So this is really just about opening your mind and understanding that a setback is not the end, that someone may see something that you don't, that a block isn't necessarily a block, and all we have to do is open our mind to something new. Stay open. Suspend the disbelief and start to decide, now what? Because I can't control that. Or I already know what to do. Why am I vacillating on this? Is it fear? Is it frustration? And whatever it is, then you'll decide what to do with that. It's not a block, though, at all. This is just the universe saying it's happening. And this is saying it's happening. So let me take my picture off a second so you can see this. So we have the tower. A version of the tower is the storm. We have the tower here, and we have judgment. So there's disbelief in one or two. For some of you, there could be up to two different things that are going on with this and with this. And you're looking at those two things thinking, I can't believe it. Not only is one thing changing, but two things are changing. Sometimes when it rains, it pours. And it's going to be okay if you're stuck between these two things. Let's, again, as I said with the Seven of Wands, the most important thing right now is to delegate, to push back on things that aren't important. The cool thing with this is it says you can handle every single challenge that comes your way. This is a card of success, of really showing up in the moment, and I have faith that you're going to be able to do that. Look at what we've got here. We have the lovely lovers coming through here for the near future. And I look at this as one of the best magnet cards in the major arcana. It's right up there with the star card. And it basically is saying that for some of you, self-worth is coming through. You've worked on it and you say, I love myself enough to say no, or to do this, or to just really be bold about what it is that I want to do in this moment. Other people will see that and they're going to resonate with it quite a bit. So this is a chance for you to embrace. And that's why I'm going to pull the camera down one more time. Let's look at these three cards together. They actually tell a really nice story. So this is the future state, which is love, acceptance, and opportunity. This is the past, or the thing that's kind of getting in the way, and it's disbelief that this could be happening. And this is being afraid of being happy, because this is happiness too, but the reversal can show a lessening or a fear of that. And this is disbelief. And again, this is like, how could this be happening to me? So I feel like some of you could be going through the challenging portion, which is, why did I have to go through that? But the universe has this little gem, this little shiny thing on the horizon, and it's saying, but I have something that's making it worth the while. And when you get that, then you're going to think, but when's the other shoe going to fall? And the universe is saying, it doesn't have to. You just went through some challenges, and that's that, but I have something good waiting for you. Hold the faith, keep the vision, and don't second guess the universe when it wants to pay the bill or it wants to give you a gift. You say, thank you, and see what comes next, okay? So I see also for some of you this opening up for love, for relationships, for acceptance, for a nice offer on the table. The lovers really doesn't have any negative connotations when it's in a near future state, when it's upright, when it's where it's at. So I think that there's something really nice on the horizon. If you're single and looking, which we'll talk about when I get into relationships, this portends very good things. And I get a little bit excited for you, Taurus, because we also have the Two of Cups here. So Definitely a great time for partnerships, for new friendships, and yes, for love. And even if you're already in a relationship, this can also show like a second chance or a reunion or a reconciliation. For those of you, we can look at this from the vein of a family member as well. It's a chance to review or restart something. Okay, let's get back into the regular spread and we'll look more in relationships in just a moment. So kind of like careful what you wish for those of you that have been looking for love. When that love comes into your life or that opportunity comes into your life, it actually can feel a lot like this. So I like to remind people of that line from Practical Magic where Nicole Kidman is talking to one of her nieces, and the little girl, which looks like her, she's like, I can't wait to fall in love, and she reminds her that it's like spinning around and you kind of get dizzy. Anything that's new or exciting can kind of give you that vertigo where you just feel like, wait a second, I need to get my footing here. So just get your footing. If it's like amazing emotional high, or if you've gone through a really significant loss, you have to give yourself time to find your sort of normal grounding again. So meditation, sleep, exercise, and eating well. All of these things are going to help you out. We'll look at that when we take a look at the health card in a moment. But I would say do everything you can to find your even ground and your even footing. Because this represents you right now. And you are here now in this moment represented by the single biggest change card that I could pull. Let's talk about the difference between the Tower reversed and the Tower upright. The Tower reversed means I am aware that there are changes and I choose to be an active participant of those changes, and I'm going to work with the energy. I'm going to surf with the energy of change. So in this moment in time, you can speak to people around you about things that are happening. If let's say there's a change of new boss or a merger at work, or there's a new landlord that comes in or something, make sure that you introduce yourself to that new connection. And if there's something that you want, looking at work, for instance, then throw your hat in for consideration and say, I really would love to talk about career growth and trajectory and some of what I've been through. Can I put some time on your calendar? Get to know them too. Start off with that and then talk about what you have in store or what you would like to explore next. The other thing with this is it could simply be the understanding that you have a lot more power than you think, and you're willing to sort of like tear down some of the old walls. And think of like Home Improvement, where they knock a wall down and open up a room. So there might be something in your life where you think, it doesn't serve me. I've been waiting a long time. This is the moment where I'm just going to do some renovation in my life. And so that could be deciding to go back to school. It could be deciding to walk away from a relationship, or it could be deciding to open up and say, I've been closing myself off enough. Now I'm open to partnerships and opportunities that I wouldn't have imagined before. Trying something new. That's basically what this is about. But I like it where it's at because it's basically, you're right by like almost a high priestess type card here. So it's basically saying you can manifest something new, and you're willing and ready and also able to see that change is the next step. Let's look at what's going on in the environment. We have the Emperor in reverse. So it's really asking you to step away from preconceived notions with respect to title, age, and experience. We still have a problem in society with ageism. You look at someone young that has a lot of talent and you think they're too young to do this. You look at someone older and you start to question their ability. It has nothing to do with talent. So let's throw the ageism piece out. Let's also look at really being capable and willing to take more accountability and power back. So what I see here with this is it can be a parental figure in your life, usually paternal with the Emperor, or a boss that steps in, and even though they know that you're capable of doing stuff, they can kind of get into your head space a little bit and make you question your ability. They'll check up too often on a deadline. They'll ask you in a way that makes you sort of doubt your own sort of confidence. Are you sure about that? Did you do everything? How about this? And it's constantly all these questions, and you just wish that they would give you a chance to prove yourself. Some of you may need to extricate or remove yourself from that kind of energy. Others of you are kind of entering into a place where maybe you've never been given the chance to lead, and someone says, hey, we like who you are and we think you could do this. Are you ready? And you may be the one that's hesitating. So if you've never had a chance to lead or to step into that role of authority, you can do it. If there's someone around you that won't let you kind of get out of the nest and fly, this is a nudge to put some distance between you and that person and explore who it is that you are, what your voice is, and to kind of find your even footing, because that is not a great way to sort of have a good working or loving relationship if somebody is constantly questioning you. Okay, so regaining power is a big theme for you, Taurus, this month. As we look at the opportunities, yay for that big wheel that's spinning there. We have the Wheel of Fortune, very much in alignment with what I was pulling in the channeled messages. So what I mentioned earlier, and I'll pull that slide up in a moment, is that the Wheel of Fortune waits for no one. It's constantly moving. This month, you're going to have a chance to hop on that Wheel of Fortune and experience growth, but it's a small window. If you hesitate too much, it may open up again a few months or a few years down the line. But I'm excited with all of these beautiful cards, particularly the two future-based ones, the Lovers and the Two of Cups. So if someone comes in and they see value or they see connection between you and between them, don't second guess them. This could be something really, really cool for you. And let's pull that slide up one more time just to make sure that we didn't miss anything. But the key thing for me when I was looking at that was that there was a need to make a decision without too much hesitation. So here we go. Here's the slide. Opportunities knocking, but the window won't stay open forever. Ask yourself what's holding you back from taking that next step. And maybe there's someone in your life that can give you the confidence that you need. A mentor, a teacher, a therapist that's going to say, yeah, I know it's kind of nerve-wracking, but look at what's here. Don't kind of miss out on this. And that's why we got this card, which is a blessing in disguise or something that's unexpected. And also if someone in your life, particularly this sort of like parental energy that we see right here, is coming through and saying, like, why are you doing this? Or are you sure you can make a go out of this? You don't owe anybody an explanation, especially this person, okay? Let's look at this in just the general opportunity, hope spheres and opportunity sense. So it looks like from a soul level, what you really want to explore is creating something new. This is a new cycle because this can represent all the different seasons. This can also be an integration card saying, I'm going to take a little bit of this experience, a little bit of this passion, a little bit of this that I haven't tried yet, and I'm going to apply it here. And then that wheel again starts to spin in the right direction. It's also saying you're not afraid to take more ownership over your career, over your personal development, and just basically, it's kind of like a steering wheel, say, let's go here. So you absolutely have that energy. Everything's moving in the right direction. We see relationships and opportunities opening up here, people being very open to what it is that you want to offer them. We also see that you have the ability to multitask here, and you also have the ability to clean up the mess here. One of the things that people may tap on the shoulder and ask you to do this month is say like, hey, we have a problem. We think you have the experience to do this. Are you willing to do this? And you should consider saying yes to this because you do have the capacity to do this. You are more able to kind of go in and fix something than you may think. So you might be the sort of fix-it person, and this could bring not just a great sense of self-worth, but also some values, some money, some opportunity to you this month as well. All right, let's move on to your outcome, which is a very favorable Two of Cups. And when partnered with the near future, we see some beautiful energy around partnerships. I like to remind folks that partnerships don't have to just be, sexual or romantic relationships. This can also represent business and just friend partnerships in your life as well. So in the case of business, this is very, very favorable. It's saying that this is a good month for you to basically have a meeting with someone, especially if you've been looking for, as I said earlier, a chance for career growth or for development. For friendship, if there's someone that you just really gel with and you're wanting to spend more time or get to know them, we see a spark here, mutual connection. And of course, in love, this can mean taking it to the next level as well. So I really like what I see with that. The Two of Cups is a fantastic way to sort of end this Celtic Cross. Now we're going to expand this and get some additional insight into the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny. As we look at health, a general reminder that I am here to help you navigate energetic opportunities. If there's anything going on with physical or mental health, obviously you'll work with a professional. Looking at your oracle card for health this month, we have the beautiful Medicine Mother here saying, honor your inner knowing. Whenever I see a druid or a sorcerer card or a magician, they all kind of connect to either magician or high priestess energy. And so for this, it's saying that you already know what's really good for you and what's not so good for you. So the big thing this month is to decide incontrovertibly, finally, like I'm going to make a change in this area. Because until you're ready to make a change, it's not going to stick. And when you finally commit to being able to do something or shift something emotionally, intellectually, or physically, then it starts to happen. What I'm seeing for many of you, we're going to now focus on the cards and we'll revisit the Medicine Mother as needed. But the main thing here that I'm looking at right now is having more structure in your life or reorganizing your life. The Tower comes through when you need to clean things up. So does the Storm, which we saw over here. So the number one thing that we're seeing is how can you clarify, how can you clear things up? So setting a new schedule together, this could be a second opinion. So if there's a health professional that you don't like right now, or you're not connecting with, this could be getting a second opinion and making sure that the person has the same goals that you have. But this can also be a decision that you want to try something new. You want to mix it up. So maybe this is changing up your exercise or your diet or your meditation routine, and you're going to see results because whenever the body tries something different, it kind of shocks it into doing more, feeling more, etc. Whenever you make changes like this, obviously you want to work with your doctor, but what I see is that there could be some positive outcomes from changing up the routine for sure. Let's look at some of the other messages here. Avoiding excess and walking away from any sort of temptation, or for some of you, this could even be a temptation for like addiction. 9 of Cups is usually going to extremes. So eating too much, working too much, sleeping too much, all of that. So we want to avoid those extremes and basically go to the root of the problem. For that, you definitely need to work with a professional, but moderation is the general note for the 9 of Cups in reverse. I really love the support that's coming in around you, whether this is health professionals, coworkers, or family and friends. You have a network there. So seek it out, lean into that network, and positive things will come from that. And those are the main things that I'm seeing here. One thing that I really like with this Judgment card, and we kind of couple it here with the Tower card, is this is a chance for you to bounce back. So again, this is a card of renewal and second chances. This is a card that's saying I needed to go through something so that I would appreciate this second chance. So you're being given a second chance. Embrace it. See where it leads. Don't question it. You worked hard for this. This is a really great energy or a card for things like Reiki healing, chiropractic work, massage therapy, basically working with different forms of medicine, not just traditional. And I think that it's not an either or when we're looking at the body. It is both energy and it's also physical matter. So you can have a nice complementary Eastern Western sort of medicine approach. So maybe some of you are seeking that out, or you may be called on a path of healing to be a healer. And we'll look more at that as we go into wealth, but maybe you're deciding to do something like be a therapist, be a healer, or some other sort of form of helping. And definitely this card is supporting that. All right, let's go ahead now and move into your wealth energy. So we have Bridget coming through on this one, and the message here is inner strength. It says move back into wholeness, WHOLE, recognize that you have the power. This is so interesting here because for many of you, you're finally realizing that somebody just couldn't or wouldn't see you in the way that they should have, and that's okay. The older you get and the more experience that you get and the more that you are comfortable with who you are, the less you put into other people's opinions because you realize it's just one opinion. This is the one time that the Judgment card in reverse in the recent past, recent past makes sense. What you're seeing and realizing with this is that their judgment, their decision is not compatible with your energy. It may not have been valid or well researched. And in this case, what you're saying about that is that kind of energy is disruptive. And you value your own time, energy, and soul enough to walk away from that. We see her sort of holding the inner flame. That's the flame of her soul, her passion, her intellect, and it matters. And that's the one time that judgment card in reverse makes a lot of sense, because you're looking at someone's judgment, not just disagreeing with it, but also understanding that they are not capable of seeing your authentic self. And in that case, you can walk away. You can walk away from that. You can find something better. The strength card, if we think of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith one, we would see a woman opening up the mouth of a lion or a beast and basically overcoming that energy. It's one of the few cards that actually shows sort of the energy of being able to be stronger than someone else. So in this case, I mean, it's called strength for a reason. In this case, even when you meet someone that would be like the king of the jungle, someone who usually, like the Emperor card, would call the shots, this is your chance to say, that doesn't make sense, and I'm willing and ready to walk my own path if I have to. Which is probably why in the meditation and in my dreams, I was seeing that open door, that open window. There's something better waiting for you. And for those of you that have met with someone who can't see it, there are other people. And we're not just looking at one, we're looking at a few other people out there that are going to see that value. So some of you need to hear that message, which is there are open arms out there. There is an open sort of energy or family or environment where you're going to feel like you can thrive more. So better days await, and it's okay to walk away from something like that. Now, let's take it in a more sort of general term. So strength is also one of the cards of leadership. If we have Empress, Emperor, strength, all of those are saying, I can do this. And so absolutely you can do this. Let's look at some of the other cards here. The Wheel of Fortune for money and for career right now is fantastic. There's something about age or experience that's going to factor into this month. So you may be thinking, I'm too old to make a career change. I'm too old to go back to school. I'm too young to take on a responsibility this big or to own a company. No, none of that matters. Age doesn't matter. The soul is timeless, ageless, deathless, right? And you on this planet may have some sort of a facade that is kind of featured into age or whatever, or a title, but it doesn't really connect with the higher you. So if an opportunity has presented itself to you, you're ready for it. You may not think you're ready. Other people may not think you're ready, but you are ready. And that's what I see here is some sort of disbelief with this card, but it's not connecting with what other people see. So all the people around you are ready. The opportunities aligned. Things have fallen away or shaken up a little bit so that you would have to kind of like just step in and say, I can do this. She feels like she can do it. People around you may question it, but the main thing for this moment in time is if you think you can do it, you can do it. When the doubt sets in, that's when it's going to be difficult. So I just want you to really give yourself a chance to try something different, irrespective of age, of gender, of whatever title you have or whatever people have projected onto you that they think you should be or do. This is your moment to shine. This is your fire. This is your passion. You decide what to do with that flame, okay? Wholeness at the bottom, that's a really important piece here. What is it that is what do you feel like is missing from your life? This is your chance to put it back into place and to find the whole you and to really focus on feeling like you are fulfilled. And no one thing or person around you can fill that except for you. And that's what this is about this month, okay? But definitely we see leadership energy. I see abundance and wealth, partnership and acceptance and offers on the table. For many of you, it's about knowing how and when and where to sort of push back. And there's a need to change it up. Some of you might have gotten kind of like disconnected or long in the tooth with a certain job, and it's finally time for you to say, I don't want this anymore, or a career path. And again, it's never too late. It's never too early to make a change. You never want to live with the sort of feeling of regret. So when I was talking about my dad earlier, one thing that he taught me, and even my mom, who she passed unexpectedly, and she lived to a ripe old age of 80, which is amazing. But she wanted to live another 10 or 20 years. You know, she had a lot more life to live. So I saw both of them wanting more. And I know that at the end, there's probably always a feeling like, oh, if I just had one more day, one more minute, one more year. So let's not worry about it. Right here and right now, you're vibrant, you're alive, you're focusing on what you can do. Make it count and lean into it. Don't have a regret for not trying. It's so not worth it. Who cares if someone laughs at you or if someone doesn't believe you, if someone leaves a nasty comment, whatever it is, who cares? Life is too short for that. Don't let the one person or the one rejection get in the way of your success and your growth, which is really coming through this month, okay? I'm excited for you because this is a second chance. This is you being able to uproot yourself and thrive somewhere else or in something else. And you can do this. It's just a matter of believing in yourself, okay? So change and growth are coming in hand. The only thing that's getting in the way of this potentially, and it was crossing the center card of happiness, is the Four of Cups, which is disbelief or frustration or this feeling of like, why is it happening now? So the universe works in mysterious ways and it very rarely works in exactly the cosmic timing that we want. But there is a bigger plan and you're being asked to trust it. And the universe is giving you a vote of confidence. So take that vote of confidence and run with it, okay? That is your wealth card for this month. Let's take a look at love and relationships. We have Work Your Magic, Saint Germain. Saint Germain was reversed on this one. This is the violet flame, violet like the color, and this is all about healing. Working your magic is saying you have the capacity to heal, nurture, and change things for the better for yourself, and that was supported by the beautiful medicine woman card that we got when it came to health. This to me is also kind of like Queen of Pentacles energy, or Queen of Wands actually, because she has the sunflower. So Queen of Wands would say, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. And in relationships this month, that kind of clear leadership is going to be powerful and possibly necessary. People are looking for someone to decide, how do we fix this? And there is a lot of room for healing, fixing, organizing, and reworking. So without further delay, let's look at the 3 different levels of relationships. For those of you in a relationship, looking for love, or single and happy. For those of you already in a relationship, let's focus on the messages over here. So as I look at the center, what's kind of interesting here is that the first thing is, let's imagine the relationship is actually in a good space, because the Lovers and the Two of Cups tells me it can be. In which case, these cards are actually environmental or attached to you. So one partner may be going through a big life change. Maybe they lost someone that they loved. Maybe there was a loss of property. There could have also been a close call with death, a health scare. And this is causing reorganization in both of your lives because you're attached, right, when you're in love. And the important thing here for supporting a partner in that change is to say, I know that this isn't what you want, and I know that this is a lot, but you're not alone. I'm here to help you. And I can't make it all better, but I can walk this path with you. I can be here with you. And sometimes just being there is enough. You don't have to have the answers. That's what doctors and therapists are for. They just need to know that they have love and support. So hold space for them. That's the most powerful thing any of us can do for a friend or a family member or anyone that we love. Okay? So that's the first thing that I see. I also see that some of you are really busy with work. So we have 8 of Wands, 7 of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune. The 8 and the 7 can actually represent the 2 of you being busy. One's a little better at pushing back. One's a little better at juggling. And both of you are going to make great strides. Remember to take time for yourselves. Remember to champion one another's successes. And remember that work isn't everything. That at the end of the day, it's really, why are you working so hard? It's also for each other. So take some time. Rekindle that flame. And for those of you where it's on the rocks, and there are a few of you here with Judgment and the Tower, I do see a chance for reconciliation, but the Tower reverse basically is saying, for this to really happen, you have to come in at it with that Queen of Wands energy that we were seeing here with the Medicine Mother, saying, I'm willing to do this work, and I need this from you as well. This is what I need. What do you need? You both need to sort of communicate wants and desires for this to really work out the way that it needs to. All right, I think that pretty much sums up what's going on in current relationships. Let's move on to those of you that are looking for love this month. The good news with these 2 cards, as you can tell, is that it's a really good time to be seeking love. The Lovers and the 2 of Cups, that's an emphatic yes, it's available to you. The form in which the love comes could be surprising. The Emperor in reverse can be an old soul in a younger body, or someone that's old, but they actually look younger or they act younger. So age is not really the main focus, but it's a surprise. Age, experience, or maturity kind of comes in a way that throws you off balance. But don't let that hold you back if this is the person that you were meant to be with. So we'll throw age out of the equation or something about that. The other thing here is your life this could be a really inconvenient time right now for someone to come in. You might have just moved, just started a job, or you just feel like there's everything going on at once. The universe has a sense of humor and it says, good, I'm going to throw this into the mix as well. So again, be careful what you're looking for. Sometimes love comes in when it's not convenient at all. Your life is topsy-turvy. And the cool thing, though, is that this partner may actually be able to give you some support. It may seem cosmically a little wacky, but it's actually there because in this moment, you could use the help. And so you might find support or friendship that then grows into something a little bit more. That can also be a piece of this. One thing that I really want you to figure out is what is it that you're looking for in your life and in your relationships? Because the more specific you are, the better you can be aligned. You might have a choice between two people. This can also be two equally weighted relationships, and that could be challenging for you to figure out. And you're thinking, okay, when it rains, it pours. There's been nothing, and now I've met a couple of people that are catching my interest. And so this is a card of competition or trying to hold back all of these people. So I would say when it rains, it pours. And if there is a period where there's not a lot happening, be patient, because I do see suitors lining up in the future here. You just have to sort of sort out your life. So this is getting settled, letting the dust settle if you've just moved, figuring out what you want, doing a little bit of a better job when it comes to delegating and managing your schedule and your resources. I see a lot of stuff happening with work and finance. And amidst all of this, another person comes in. I don't think you have to do much this month to meet the person. I think the important thing is to sort your life out and to figure out what it is you're looking for, and then just kind of let it go. And energetically, it's going to meet you. All right, let's focus now on those of you that are single and happy. I think it's actually a really good time to be single and happy. Many of you are in a big shift in your life, like I said earlier. It could be a career shift, could be a new move, could be, again, someone leaving your life. Whatever is going on right now, I do feel like the central focus will be like, what is it that you want to do? Figuring out your moment and your sort of direction is going to be key right now. Here's the good news, though. This is a very good time for any sort of partnership opportunities outside of love. So if you wanted to start a business with someone, if you wanted to join some sort of a, extracurricular or community sort of project, all of this is very much positive for you because I see people, partnerships, and support all around you. I would definitely lean into networking in this moment in time. You don't have to do anything on your own unless you want to, and it feels like you could get a lot out of this because we could take this just as growth and development here. It doesn't have to just be money, and it's right by all of those partnership cards. So I see personal growth, big changes in your life, and a lot of love and support coming in. So this is a great time for those that are single and happy, okay? Let's move on to the Destiny card, and we have Sacred Plan. The card is reversed, but this is a very positive card. So basically this is saying the sooner you kind of figure out what it is that you want, the sooner the universe can help you out. It's also kind of giving you the sense of encouragement that even if you don't see how it's all interconnected, there's also a divine plan at play. What happens when you start to realize your power and your strength in this particular moment is you can co-create. Rather than feeling like you're trying to catch up and figure out what the script is, you are a co-writer and a co-producer on the story of your life. And that's something that it feels like generations and centuries of leaders have kind of kept from us, because when you start to realize your power, you don't need them so much. You don't need the structure so much. And that's my gift to you today, is that you are a co-creator in your own life plan. And the sooner you start to co-create, the sooner this plan starts to become something that is more engaging, fulfilling, and you start to realize, wow, I'm actually more powerful and more capable than I gave myself credit for. So back to what I wrote earlier, what is it that's next for you? I'll bring this slide up again. We definitely see some connections here, but okay, so I wrote here, what's next? We put too much emphasis on one moment in time. And I saw this with, I've mentioned this before, but different people in my family when they retired. They didn't know what to do with that. And that was really more of a 20th century phenomenon. I think in the 21st century, we realized that, we're not defined by a single job, because a lot of times we're going to probably end up having dozens of jobs in our lifetime. That was not the case for our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents. But in this moment, we start to realize we're not defined by a title, by a place that we're living, by any really anything. It's at a certain point, it's more a chance for you to decide, what's my lesson plan? And when you start to plan out more than one thing, that's when you start to feel like, oh, it's not over, it's just beginning, or this is just one of many things. Okay? Let's go ahead now and expand the forecast. If you just joined, here's a quick breakdown of what we're going to be doing. The next piece we're going to look at is a big idea. And I think for many of you, this is a nice continuation. So if you are a co-creator and there's this big sacred plan that's happening, what can you do to tap into that? Let's kind of fine tune this big idea to help you answer that question. How can you co-create? So we have the Five of Cups here. One of the things I love about the Five of Cups is basically there is unexpected support. This is really close to what we saw in all of the cards today. If we take a look at the table here, we see the Lovers and we see the Two of Cups. So there's definitely support systems in place that may surprise you. But there's a necessary grieving or shift of perspective that needs to happen. So what's happening here is, believe it or not, the Three of Cups, since we're seeing so many different people stepping into the spread here, it can represent peer pressure, gossip, or words that have been said that hurt you in the form of constructive or not so constructive criticism. Like I said earlier, we need to kind of let that fall away. You can accept it in the moment and think, all right, I'm triggered, this isn't ideal, but there's so much to celebrate, there's so much that I can control, I'm going to focus my energy here instead. And it's a redirection. This can also be a setback, but it's followed quickly by a blessing. So for instance, maybe there was some sort of a material or physical loss, but then love or opportunity comes in. Or maybe there was a loss of a loved one, but again, maybe then there's a financial windfall because we got the Wheel of Fortune, or love interest that comes in as well. So I'm seeing something challenging paired with something really beautiful. And the universe, again, is trying to help you out and say, I'm balancing things out for you if you're willing to accept the balance. And that's the big idea this month. And that's what's going to help you co-create on that sacred plan, is to say, yes, let's have more of this and less of that. And you can actually do a meditation with the universe and basically say, thank you for the lesson that was challenging, that was painful, that was difficult. I no longer need that. I'd like to offer it back to you and say, I'm willing and ready to receive it in a different form now. I'm ready to receive love as a teacher, abundance as a teacher, happiness as a teacher as well. It doesn't always have to be the challenges. All right, we're going to move from the big idea into blessings and blocks, just like it sounds. Things that could help you get further on your path, things that might constitute a setback or a block. All right, let's give the cards a shuffle and see what the message is here. For your blessing, we have the Chariot. And for your block, we have the Sun. Let's start off with the Chariot, which again came through for your blessing. This is saying in this moment in time, it's important to be decisive, assertive, and concise with things. You may also benefit from traveling somewhere or moving your sort of general work situation into some other place, because where you're at, when we're looking at the cards on the table, it could be a little bit distracting. There could be a little bit of chaos around you. So if you need to change things up or to say this works or doesn't work for me, again, the leadership, the authoritative energy, and that ability to sort of take charge is what this is about. This is a time where you want to be a leader, not necessarily a follower. And again, if you can step into that right now, you will be surprised at how much support you'll receive. Again, Lovers and Two of Cups. And again, an opening in the opportunity space with the Wheel of Fortune. So this is a time to be seen, to be heard, and to say what you think. It isn't always the case, but this month we definitely see an opening in those energies. What's the block? Well, for some of you, there is a fear of outshining someone, believe it or not. And this is because maybe you're used to being in the role of teacher, nurturer, or supporter. And believe it or not, the universe is saying you can be that, but you can also be this, which is strong and shining and, again, sort of in the spotlight. This is also a card of birthing or rebirthing. So for some of you, there is this long time sort of energy of holding back, and this month it needs to come through, and it's kind of like the floodgates are opening. So the block here is saying, one way, shape, or form, this baby is going to come through. So again, why not be the one that's delivering this energy forward? Because when we see your how you're showing up here, it is a change card. When we see the catalyst, it's a change card. And when we see recent past, it is disbelief. But believe it or not, you have this ability to come through and shine and be something different and deliver on a promise or a dream. And it's going to happen one way, shape, or form. The universe is going to shake up your life, so you have to deliver or sort of like come into that energy. All right? So the only block is delays on your part and disbelief or fear of outshining someone. But the universe has set you up in this moment to have an expansion and to have this moment where it's important for you to step into your truth and step into your moment. So I hope you can do it. And I look forward to seeing what that is for each and every one of you. The Sun card can also be focusing on children in your life. So for those of you that are a parent, or if you are a caretaker and you look after someone, the child or the Sun card can represent someone who is a dependent of you. And so that might be a energetic balance that you have to figure out how to take time for yourself and also take care of someone who is in your charge. So that's the only other way that I might possibly read that as a block, because the Sun is invariably a very, very good card. Okay? It can also represent egos. So maybe just being mindful of others and your own ego, just making sure that they're in check and in balance. The next thing that I want to take a look at is the reader's choice. And there are two things that are calling to me in this particular reading. So if we just take a look here at this. So we have the Storm and the Tower. So the first thing that I want to do is clarify change. And the other thing that I want to help you through is this Judgment card reversed. How can you either embrace what has already been decided, or if there's any disbelief, we need to look at that. So let's pull a card first for the energy around change and the Tower. So to clarify the Tower, we have the Devil reversed. And now let's clarify Judgment reversed. And we have the Three of Swords. All right, so I'm going to help you through these two very pivotal energies. I always go for the hardest cards because that's what I would want to know as a viewer. Okay, so we're focusing first on really, what do you do about this, the Tower reversed? Well, we have the Devil in reverse, which is saying this is reclamation of control and of power. And for some of you, you've finally had enough. You've had enough of someone else making bad decisions, or you've had enough of someone holding you down or holding you back when it is your moment to shine and when it is your chance to sort of do what you need to do. All right. So like I said, this baby's going to be birthed one way or another. And this month is a chance for you to come forward and free yourself from something that was limiting. It can also be a limiting thought. You may think to yourself, I don't know if I can adjust to this because of any number of reasons. Don't put yourself there. Don't limit yourself there. So let the limit go, whatever it is, to this, to that, not enough this, not enough that. Let those things go and just think, why not? I'm going to give this a shot. Maybe I will accomplish this. Maybe I'll actually do better than I thought. Wouldn't it be cool if I could completely disprove this person's sort of fear or anxiety about me? In other words, prove myself right, that I am okay, that I can do this. And that is how you can get through this. It is through hope, it is through hard work, and it's also through things like transparency and honesty. And if someone won't let you be your true authentic self, or won't encourage you or support you or love you unconditionally, enough is enough. And so really this is about unshackling yourself from limiting people, limiting situations, and limiting thoughts. Once you do that, and once the dust settles with the Tower card, things are going to be okay. That's really the message here, is that sometimes you're just afraid of the energy of change, but it's better than this. I like to remind folks that the devil you know is still a devil. Listen to the phrase. So that is not an excuse to stay with something just because you're still saying, I am connecting with the devil, and that is not a favorable sort of relationship. Why do that when you can have this, the elevated lovers. These are two versions of love. This is conditional. This is unconditional. This is what's blocking you. This is what's waiting for you. Why accept the devil you know when you could have the lovers instead? It's rhetorical. You're not going to. All right, so that's the main energy with respect to the Tower. It's saying there's change and I'm afraid because at least I know what I have. And if I step into this, I don't know. Well, I think your odds are pretty good. The Lovers, the Two of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune, I take those odds over the devil any day. All right, now let's focus on clarifying the energy of Judgment reversed. So I wanted to understand what it was that was difficult to believe about this, or why it is that you're kind of stuck in that energy potentially at the beginning of the month. Well, we have the Three of Swords, and once you get through a painful situation in your life, sometimes we get stuck and stunted sort of in that moment, and we think, if I do this again, maybe I'll be hurt, or if I do this again, isn't it just going to be a repeat? Not necessarily. So you had one moment, one person, one situation that didn't work out the way you wanted it to. But if something good is coming through, and that's really what I think this judgment can represent, because we have positive energy here, and maybe you pushing back and sort of not allowing that to come through, it's to protect your heart. And that's basically what this card is about. It's saying, I don't want to let people in. I don't want to let people too close. I don't want to put myself out there and be vulnerable again. It's understandable, but it's not necessary. So give yourself a moment to mourn what was. Give yourself a moment to accept that it wasn't fun, it maybe wasn't right, and it certainly didn't make you happy. But it is not necessarily going to repeat itself, especially if you learned from it and if you grew from it, which it looks like you did. Okay? So that's my clarification of those two cards. Now, let's go ahead now and look at Sun, Rising, and Moon sign messages. As I said earlier, you can look at the entirety of this reading for any aspect of your chart, but I always like to look at Sun, Rising, and Moon. I advise all of you to look at it, so why not fine-tune this message a little bit for those three parts of your chart. All right, let's give the cards a shuffle and see what's coming through. Sun, Rising, and Moon. We'll begin with Sun sign messages. So this is a chance for you to achieve more balance in your life, to stand up for what you believe, to actually make something happen. And it's in a big part because you are coming forward with this sort of authority and decisiveness that perhaps you haven't in the past. And so justice does what's right, and it does so without any fear or doubt. It's basically impartial. So there's a part of you that just really knows, like, I need to do this. This must be done. I'm not afraid to step forward. So I like that. If there's any part of your life that's imbalanced, let's say, it's in the area of health or money, this is about bringing balance to that area as well. So focus on finding equilibrium, work-life balance, financial balance, health balance. Do what's right, especially when others are not acting in that energy. You're going to come through and say, that's unacceptable. This is the right thing. So the only time judgment reverse is right is if you specifically know that someone's doing the wrong thing and it's like a policy or legal violation, then this is about possibly even taking that legal matter in your own hands. There is an advantage to working with a lawyer right now if you need to. This is a good time to sign a contract or make a contract or do the right thing. And that's basically what we see here. Take a stand, do what's right, find the necessary balance. All right, let's move from Sun to Rising. For Rising this month, try to keep an open mind. This is going to be especially important in school and in work or any sort of social engagement where there's a lot of people and a lot of ideas floating around. The King of Wands in reverse is still a good leader, but he's not a really great listener. So if you're connecting with that kind of energy, you might have to lead by example and model the behavior that you need. You may have to work as a conduit to try to help people air their grievances and have that person listen to it. But if you're the King of Wands in reverse, it's saying, yes, you may have a really good way of doing something. Yes, your vision is very clear, but there could be something that could come in that could enhance it or speed things up a little bit. So really practice good active listening, keep an open mind, and don't be afraid to try new things. You'll be surprised at how well you can do something new or different, and you're still going to thrive, okay? This is still a boss card. So if there's something that you steadfastly believe in, you have the capacity to go in and talk over someone or push someone in the right direction. So know when it's appropriate to be the boss and know when it's important to listen so that you're getting a little bit of both. Good leaders can do both. They hold their ground when it matters. They listen when they need to. And that's the important balance that you need to find this month, particularly in matters of work, school, and finance. As we now move on to moon sign messages, this is a month of increased sensitivity, increased creativity, and for many of you, love is in the air. The Queen of Cups is still positive, even if she's reversed. But she's saying, you know what, I need to take a minute. I need to let go of some of the stuff that I've been holding on to. I've been dealing with a lot. And you could feel like someone in your life just needs way too much from you right now, whether that's a friend or your mom or your lover. It's sort of like, I need just a little bit of space to compartmentalize and to ground myself. And if you need to say that to them, say that to them. Ultimately, though, it does feel like you're in the flow creatively. Your heart is open. So do your best to make sure that your heart is also balanced and healing, because some of you may be rebounding a little bit from a difficult situation. It's going to get better. It's going to be okay. But if you need support right now, as we saw today, there's so much love and support here. So whether that's the form of, a love interest or a friend or a doctor, whoever you need to talk to, find that support system, lean into that, and give yourself the support that you need, okay? Increased psychic connection as well coming through. It's not just creative, so you're going to be picking up on a lot of energies this month. Overall, I really like what I see. These are all power cards, by the way. We have a major arcana card here with justice, and then we have 2 court cards coming through. So if I just look at the canopy of energy, it's really, really good. It's all empowered. Yes, you have to change and move a little bit, but that's a part of every month, So I feel like you're moving in the right direction, particularly when we saw the Lovers, the 2 of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. It's a good month, folks, and you're headed in the right direction. All right, if you just joined, let me quickly show you what's remaining here. We're going to do a meditation together. We'll have a quick sound bath, and then I always allow a final card at the very end. And this will be an opportunity for you to ask me a question, silent question, and we'll see what the energy is based on the collective folks that show up for this reading. And I'll try to give you both a yes, no, and then a couple layers deeper as well, whatever, the spirit wants to come through and say. All right. So with that being said, let's get into the meditation. So for today's meditation, as I'm looking, let's look at the cards together real quick and see what's calling. I really love the sacred plan co-creation energy that was coming through. So that's kind of beautiful. And I love this sort of inner fire that's coming through with this as well. So I think we can work with the 2 of these together. Close your eyes for a moment and take a nice deep breath with me. On the exhale, let go of your shoulders, your neck, your back. Just let all the stress that's held in that area dissipate. And I want you to focus on the energy of the heart. Since we got the 3 of Swords, since I saw the flame right around the heart, let's focus on rekindling and reconnecting with the passion, with the love, with the energy of the heart space. Imagine that you are in the forest at nighttime and you're watching all these beautiful fireflies around you. You notice that they light up for a second and it's kind of like a call and an answer. And because we've got the Lovers and the 2 of Cups, I think that it would be cool to send out a signal with your heart and allow the universe to show up and answer, either in an opportunity or perhaps in love or something beautiful. So start to imagine what your sequence of heart lights look like. So, whenever we're looking at fireflies, they might light up a couple of times and stop. It's almost like Morse code. So imagine that you're creating this beautiful sort of rhythm with what your heart looks like. And it's actually the color that fireflies are. It's this kind of greenish color. So see this beautiful green color coming from your heart and see it lighting up. And then imagine that it's starting to wrap its energy around you as you're lighting up the heart space. And you actually see these 2 beautiful wings form behind you. So just like a firefly, you can imagine yourself being capable of elevating or flying just a little bit as you're meditating here. And as you're doing that, allow your heart to go where it needs to. What is your heart's desire? What is your heart's dream? What part of your heart hasn't been satisfied by this present situation? With each breath that you take and with each time that it lights up, imagine that it's starting to fill in a part of yourself that you felt was missing, something that you wanted, something that you wish that you would kind of put time and energy into. This light is now filling up your heart space, and if you were like an Ace of Cups, it's filling you up from the bottom to the top. And by the time we do the sound bath, you're going to just feel like this beautiful light is flowing everywhere. Now, see on the horizon the person, the place, or the thing that you want to call into your life magnetically. With each beat of your heart, with each pulse of light that comes out, see that opportunity pulsing as well, and see it coming closer like a ship in the night, coming closer to you. You're the lighthouse. It's coming to shore. And keep that sort of rhythm and energy and pulsing of light going as I play the singing bowl. Continue to breathe as well. I'll be right back, and I'm going to play the singing bowl, and then we'll look at your final card. Take a nice deep breath. Bring your hands together at the heart space. Put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of your heart, and really seal in that intention that you are worthy. You are worth this dream that you have for yourself, and even more, all of this and greater in cosmic timing, and that cosmic timing may be faster than you imagine. Release the limits that you've put on yourself and release any negative experiences that you've had. Thank the higher powers that be and just say thank you for all the lessons you presented to me, especially the difficult ones. I no longer need those in my life. I'm open now to receiving love and happiness and abundance in the highest forms. When you're ready, I'd like you to open your eyes, and I'd like you to focus on the final question that you have for me. No need to type it or say it, just keep it in your mind's eye. And let's go ahead and give the cards a shuffle and see what the message is. Look at the 10 of Cups. I'm super happy to see that. We talked about at the very beginning how the 4 of Cups and the 9 of Cups could come together and form this beautiful 10 of Cups that we see here. This is an emphatic yes to a yes-no question. It's basically saying yes, but yes, comma, with the help of others, in the presence of others, and because you're connecting to the larger collective energy. So this is definitely a card of people and of love and of support and of community. And so this is not a hermit-based energy at all. The way to success, the way to accomplish something is through a network, is through the people that you love. So if you're looking for something, it's maybe one person away, one person removed, or two people removed. So you want to start talking to people about that. If you're job seeking, or if you're looking for a home, or if you're looking for some new opportunity, throw it out there in the universe and see if someone that you know can help out. The other thing with this is if you've been looking for love, this is definitely a card that shows, yes, that is something that is within reach. Friendships are availing themselves to you more. And if you want to pitch an idea or do something professionally, again, this is a very receptive card. You got almost every single relationship card except maybe like the Ace of Cups. But with the Lovers, the Two of Cups, and the Ten of Cups, I see a lot of positive energy with respect to people in your life. So put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to show your true self or your true colors. It looks pretty exciting to me, folks, okay? I am so happy that I was able to be here for you today, be able to bring through these messages. It feels like this is going to be an exciting period of time for you, so put yourself out there. Like I said, embrace the opportunity and keep me posted in the comments below and let me know how this month shapes up for you. All right, folks, before we get to the final portion here, I just want to say thank you so much for all of you that have subscribed and helped this channel grow. Please, if you just joined at the midpoint or just tuned in right now, make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell icon, like, and leave a comment below. You can also join if you would like to or give back with a super sticker or super chat. Since it's a live premiere, I'll be thanking everybody in real time. You can also join me on social media so you never miss a live video or a premiere or any content that I put out here. And a reminder that I don't give private readings and I don't use direct messages. So I always like to put that out there for safety. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up and making today possible. And thank you so much for working on yourselves. It's the continued community and the continued participation here that makes it worth my while. So from my heart to yours, I wish you a fantastic month ahead and lots of love from Sleeping Apollo here. I have to do these videos early, so he's not always awake when I'm doing them here for you so that you can see them. But it's well worth the time and energy. Lots of love and light from me to you. Keep an eye on the channel for future premieres later this week. Again, I'm usually live every Monday, Thursday, and Friday, as well as the Sunday collectives. Plus, I do daily readings as well. So again, make sure that if you haven't already subscribed, you do so and you'll never miss out. All right, guys, take care of yourself. Thank you again. Lots of love and light. Have a good one. Bye-bye.